Lady K.
Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Lady K Chat, a podcast that has been designed for divorced women to become a better version of themselves. Various subjects will be speaked upon, such as relationship, personal development, health and wellness, wealth building, children, and so much more. The shows will be aired every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by the lovely host, who is an international speaker, two-time Amazon bestseller author, and a divorce life coach, Kalima, aka Lady K. And now for your host, Lady K. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in tonight's episode of No More. And No More stems from a place of domestic violence. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that's suffering in silence, and this is why I say no more. So tonight, I have the pleasure to invite this guest on. I give her so much praise in what she's doing. I commend her, and her name is Pastor Heidi Mercado, and she is the CEO and owner of Rise Organization. Hello, Heidi. How are you tonight?
I am doing well, Kalima. Thank you for having me. How are you?
You are very welcome. I'm great. Thank you.
Awesome.
And this topic tonight, Heidi, I just got to touch base on it because I just feel like a lot of people are suffering in silence. Some people are afraid to speak up because they might feel like they might get judged, or if they do try to leave, where they're going to go. It's so much to consider. Heidi, what can you say to someone to inspire them to get out the situation that they're in?
Oh, wow. A lot can be said. I mean, as it pertains to domestic violence, as we all know, it is something that takes place, and there's no discrimination. Like, it can be any person, any background, any culture, any social economic status. Anyone can be going through this, even in the church.
Right.
And you would be surprised to know that inside the church it takes place, and no one's addressing it, no one's talking about it. And I think, like you said, I believe there's a lot of fear, and many women or even men, whoever it is that's experiencing the abuse, they may not want to speak up because they don't want to be judged. They don't want people to look at them and say, well, you're in this situation because it's your choosing, like, you can get out. Or they may feel that they're going to be judged, so they may just stay silent, like you said, and they're not sharing it. They're not letting anyone know. They may not even speak to the pastor. But then again, there's some cases that they do speak up and they do share it with the pastor, let's just say. And I'm just using the church as an example because I've heard so many stories. And the pastor may not be well equipped because they may not know much about domestic violence, and they may dismiss it, or they may use even scripture, believe it or not, to say, well, just be submissive, just, work it out, pray about it. And the sad part about that is that even if we speak on this from a biblical perspective, we know that God is against any type and form of abuse. So there is no justification for abuse. So it's really sad that even in the church is taking place. But if I can inspire any person that's dealing with this issue, I would really have to say that they need to speak up. They should not stay in silence, because staying in silence is only going to make the situation escalate, is only going to get worse. I mean, statistically, it is proven that when it deals with domestic violence in relationships and marriages, it only gets worse. It doesn't get better.
Right.
It never gets better. And then it's what we call sometimes the roller coaster, where it goes up, oh, everything's great, and then it goes right back down. And then the next time is always worse than the last time. And again, and that could be in different kinds of abuse. It can be verbal, it can be physical, it can be psychological, it can be financial. I mean, you name it, there's so many types of abuse that's out there. And I believe that not too many people are recognizing it. And that's also probably the reason why they're remaining silent. But they need to speak up, because there is help out there. There is a way to get out. There's many places, agencies, resources that they can obtain so that they can actually not only get out, but that they can begin the healing process, because that's really important.
That's so true. That's so true. And Heidi, you said a mouthful, but as you were speaking, the number one thing that kept playing in my head, is going to someone who has, wisdom. Because like you said, sometimes people can go to the leader of the church and church, kind of fail them or kind of make them feel some type of way. And it's like, you want to go to that person that have that wisdom, that has that backbone, because I'm tired of, and even for myself as a Christian, I'm tired of people telling you, oh, just because you're married, stay in it. And it's like, no, that's not right. Like, even if the person have to separate themselves from their spouse just to receive their healing, then I commend that,
Yes,
Like, I
yes.
it really bothers me so much when you see, like, and it's intelligent people too, and you would think, okay, this person is intelligent, but sometimes intelligent and discernment and wisdom don't just go hand in hand. And it's like,
Exactly.
and like you said, you got to speak to someone who's well known in that area. So I want people to know, like, who you are, and what you do and what type of services that you provide.
Oh, absolutely. So at the Rise Resource Center, we offer different kinds of services, beginning with mobile advocacy. So we meet with the client wherever they are at. And what I
That is
mean by that is that
amazing.
if they don't have means of transportation, we can pick them up. We go where they are at. We can meet them at the library, we can meet them at their house, we can meet them at, let's say, if they're at at a doctor's, wherever they feel comfortable, that they feel they can speak, we will meet them there. That's number one. Number two, we also offer court accompaniment. And what that is that if they need to go to court, many of us, and I know for sure because I've been a victim and I've been in these situations, no one likes to go to court. You need emotional support when you're walking into the court. So
Right.
we offer that by providing an advocate that can walk with the person, with a woman or a man who's being abused. They're looking to, let's say, obtain a PFA. We can go with them to court. We provide that emotional support with them. And oftentimes they may not know the entire legal process, but we do. So we offer our expertise and what we know so that we can help them to not only get what they need to get, but to make sure that they know their rights and what they need to ask for. Because I'll be really honest, many times, and I've been in this situation, you can walk into the courthouse, you can walk in to ask for help, and you may not always get the help that you need. In fact, you may walk feeling intimidated, and you may walk out feeling worse because you may have felt that the system also failed you. And because of that very reason, we want to be that source of emotional support, that they're not walking in by themselves. We're there, and it could just be a ministry of presence, meaning that we're just there right by your side. You're doing all the talking, but we're just right there next to you. So we offer that kind of service. We also have support groups, which is so awesome because I have some great facilitators that run the groups, and they do such a great job. These women, the groups are growing to the point that we may have to add a second day because the women are not fitting at the resource center. And what I love about the groups, I've sat through a few of them, is that, we open up in prayer. We close out in prayer. We're faith-based. So everything is biblical. So we're not talking out of what we don't know, but we're talking straight out of the Word of God. Because we believe at Rise that the only way that you can have healing and deliverance is through the Word of God. It's not a 12-step program, but it is all about knowing who God is and allowing Him to be the pilot of your life.
Right. I love that. Thank you, Heidi. Also, too, as you spoke earlier, you was encouraging, the woman who may be in this situation to get out. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your story and what made you have your moment to get out and leave?
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely. Yeah. So this was, I want to say, maybe when I was like 19. From the moment I was 19 and on, I really didn't have an identity as far as I wasn't saved, so that's number one. I wasn't saved, so I had many different kinds of perspective on what a relationship should be. But while in my childhood growing up, I didn't have the best examples. So I saw a lot of toxic relationships. I saw a lot of unhealthy relationships. So that's what I learned. So I felt, well, then that's normal. That was the norm. So in my relationships, it just so happens that that's what I was in. I was always in a relationship that was never benefiting me, that it was always about the other person. And I came in second with everything. It was very toxic. There was verbal abuse. It was physical abuse. And it was a repetitive cycle, I want to say, for at least 10 years of my life. And I mean, I was so lost. I was beyond being lost. I mean, other people knew that I was lost, but I didn't know I was lost. It was as if everyone would look at my life and say, my God, like, you know, you need help. And I think I had that moment that if I keep it biblical, it's like that moment when the prodigal son came to himself. I came to myself when I heard that. And it was mind blowing, because I said, wow, when others are saying that I need help, there's a problem. There's a problem. And once I realized there was a problem, it was a whole road of a journey of healing, of just understanding what it really meant to be in a healthy relationship.
Right.
But I say that to say that even though it was 10 years, and 10 years is a long time. Let me tell you, 10 years is a really long time. I know for some it may be 20 and maybe 30, but 10 years of my life is a long time. But it was necessary. Everybody has their own story. In my story, it was necessary. It had to happen like that. And I'll be honest, I have no regrets, because I've learned. I can look back and say, I was lost. I did not have identity. I did not know where I was going. I was in an abusive relationship. It wasn't healthy. But God, but I've learned since then what it really is to be in a healthy relationship. So now Absolutely. I can differentiate. Now I can say, but I know better. I know the difference. I know it's abusive. I know it's unhealthy. So it was a long process, but there's nothing impossible. I guess what I'm saying, there's nothing impossible. And I say that even for women that they may be in a situation even right now that they're saying, you know, but I've been in an abusive relationship for 15, 20 years. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out, and so forth. My moment was me surrendering everything to God. When I surrendered everything to God, He gave me an identity. And when He spoke into my life and I realized that I am a princess, that I'm the apple of His eye, I started to see life in a totally different way. And once I knew that, I said, there's no way that I will ever allow any person to demean me, put me down, take advantage of me, let alone even abuse me. Because now I knew my plate. And I think many of us, we fall into those categories because we don't know who we are.
Right. I thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, as she was sharing, you know, and she was giving encouragement, you know, I wanted to share my story because a lot of people don't know that I experienced domestic violence. My story is not as long as Heidi. You know, I didn't go through 10 years. I'm happy I only went through 2, but in those 2 years, I knew that, you know, this wasn't right. This wasn't healthy. And mine wasn't physical. Mine was psychological. And people think, oh, they think psychological is nothing, but that's just as bad as physical. Okay.
Oh yes.
And you know, I was young. I was a teenager, and the crazy thing about in my experience, in my household, I grew up with love. It was nothing but love in my household. You know, me being an adult now, recognize it. Back then, it was like, oh, you know, I'm a teenager, and my parents get on my nerves, and I can't wait to get out. Average teenager thinking. But like I said, reflecting back,
I had love all around me. So like I questioned myself, like, why did I accept it? Like you said, Heidi, my identity. I didn't know my identity. And then on top of that, I got pregnant with my oldest son, and I knew I deserved better and more. So I left that relationship, like I said, only 2 years in. And when I stepped out of that, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. And then I got to, proceed, and live life.
Right.
So, it's a blessing, ladies, just by listening to our stories, I hope you are so much encouraged because, this is for you. It's not for us. Like, we went through it. We passed through it. So it is our diligence to tell our story. And again, I just hope this inspires someone. I hope that, whatever situation that you're in, you can get yourself out, make a plan. I know sometimes it's hard, but Heidi, would you agree if a lady can make a plan, or even a man, if they can make a plan to get out, do you feel like sometimes that's successful?
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the things we also do at the resource center is that we sit down with the client, and we discuss a safety plan, and every plan is unique to everyone. So that is definitely something that we do. And I do encourage if there's anyone that is going through a situation like that and they want to get out, but they don't know how to, definitely give us a call at Rise, because like I said, we can definitely connect you and we can definitely give you the resources that you need and definitely set up a safety plan, because guess what? It is needed. If we don't plan to get out, we will remain the same. We will stay in the same situation unless we make a decision to change.
Right. And if someone wants to contact you, how can they reach you?
They can call me at the Resource Center. So that number is 570-484-8576. And that's the direct number to the office where they can reach me. And they can also visit the website, which is www.imrise.org.
Nice. And I know this weekend coming up, you're actually doing something special. Tell us what you're doing this coming Saturday.
Oh my goodness, I am super excited because it is our second annual fundraiser luncheon. So it's going to be amazing. We're going to have some great panelist speakers. We're going to have worship. We're going to have a nice lunch. We're going to have some testimonies. We're going to have some presentations. I mean, we're going to just have a ball. And I encourage anyone who would like to come. It's not too late. Go ahead and sign up. It is this Saturday at the Country Club of the Poconos from 12 to 4.
Nice. Thank you. And one more question for you, Heidi, because, this, my show, we're everywhere without the U.S. If somebody was calling from a different state, do you have the resources to guide them to their local state, ambassador who represent women in domestic violence cases?
Absolutely. That's why we call the Resource Center. So what we don't have, we will find. We will connect them to the resources that they need in any state.
Okay, wonderful. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this information was very valuable to you. And Heidi, what's your website?
So the website is www.imrise.org.
Wonderful. And ladies and gentlemen, as you know, my website is www.ladykcoaching.com. And you can also continue to follow me on social media at Facebook and Instagram at ladykchat.com. I'm sorry, ladykchat. So you guys have a wonderful night. Heidi, I thank you for all the information that you implied. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Have a good night.
Thank you for having me. God bless.
You're welcome.
Lady K.